Welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting for Tuesday, January 22nd. As we always do, we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is vote to sign the memorandum of agreement with the unions for modification to the health insurance. Jim, you want to start us off?
Sure. What you have before you is the MOA that we've been working on since the beginning of November. All the employee groups have come in and signed off on it. I believe the school committee is going to sign off on it at their next meeting. I'd like to take this opportunity to kind of recognize and thank some of the town and school employees, some of whom are here tonight, for agreeing to modify the health insurance plan offered by the town via an MOA, which you have before you, in light of not adopting 21-23. This is the second such time in 4 years that the employee groups have come together. I'm truly appreciative and proud of the various employees and what they've been able to do collectively, both amongst themselves and with the town here, to reach an agreement that allows us to modify the plans without drastically impacting the employees. This is a notable shift that will save the town hundreds of thousands of dollars over the next few years. I'd like to thank and commend the employee groups and their representatives who worked with me and the Board of Selectmen for their hard work and long hours that went into this agreement. It wasn't easy, but it could have been a lot harder to negotiate this thing and get it done in the short period of time that the board gave me to get it done in. And so thank you guys, thank you all of you who are here tonight. Thank you everyone who didn't make it. I'm appreciative of everything you've done, and I'll take any questions you may have.
I would just add that, I did sit in on one of those meetings, and I do appreciate the unions coming together. I think that while, and I mentioned this, on one hand, as a selectman, it would be probably easier as a selectman to vote in 21-23 and just tell you what the health insurance plan would look like. But I think a negotiated settlement is a much better solution because it allows us to come to an agreement that works for everybody. It doesn't hit anybody too hard. So I would echo what Jim said. I thought the agreement was very fair, and I appreciate that everybody came together to work on that and make it happen. And I was involved the first time around 3 years ago, so I think it's a good solution. Any other comments or questions? I'll make a motion to move to sign the memorandum of agreement with the union for modifications to the health insurance plan. Second. We have a second. Motion a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye. Abstain.
Abstain. Against? 4-0-1. Thank you. Okay, next up is a vote request for street opening permit under the moratorium for Fox Hill Drive at Route 1 for Highland Development Ventures, LLC. Come on up. Welcome.
Good evening, Chairman Gallivan, ladies and gentlemen of the Town of Walpole Board of Selectmen. My name is Thomas Brady. I'm representing Highland Development Ventures, LLC. They're trying to build an extra space self-storage facility out at the corner of Fox Hill Drive and Route 1. We've been before the Conservation Commission. We got good results there. We've got our order of conditions. On January 2nd, we went before the Zoning Board of Appeals. We got very positive results there. And we've been once before the Planning Board and again February 21st before the Planning Board. Hopefully we'll get all of our approvals. One thing that is in the way that Maggie has helped us out with is that the Board of Selectmen for the Town of Walpole has put a moratorium on digging into Fox Hill Drive. So that poses a problem if we get all of our permits. We would really want to get going, and if we can't enter Fox Hill Drive to put our utilities in until 2021, that causes a problem. So I sent a letter December 19th to help Cindy requested to get on your agenda to give us a vote that would allow us to open Fox Hill Drive. With me tonight is James Bernardino from Bowler Engineering. And if you have any questions, you can point them to Jim. He can tell you exactly what's going to be done as far as opening the street and closing it.
Any comments or questions? David?
I'd like to hear from the engineer.
Good evening, Jim Bernardino with Bowler Engineering. What's being proposed for street opening is to allow for two services. Well, two water services. One, a 1-inch domestic service, as well as a 6-inch fire service. We will also be seeking, probably at a later time, in conjunction with the gas company, a second street opening permit for a gas service. And speaking with Maggie, we're trying to consolidate the width of the trenches that have to happen, so we have all our very confined, dense area to minimize the impacts to Fox Hill Drive. We're coming separately with the from the gas company. Maggie initially requested or suggested that we kind of have a concurrent or a unified proposal to this board. However, we have reached out to the gas company to get the ball rolling with them. Gas companies, with the situations that they've had over the last number of months, obviously aren't as responsive as the engineer that's, day-to-day operations with the project. So what we did was, we know this is a big investment for our client and wanted to get at least in front of this Board of Selectmen to discuss this, as our next steps is a very intense obligation financially to develop the building designs, the steel calculations and all of that. That's a very big next step, and obviously we would like to have at least support from the selectmen, obviously conditionally based upon some of the other approvals that we need to get from the other boards and commissions in the town. So with that said, that's kind of a general idea why we're here this evening. If there's any other technical details, I'm more than willing to elaborate more. And in discussing with Maggie, we have no issues with any of the conditions that she would put on, from construction standards and things of that nature. We fully intend to comply with her recommendations, as well as anything from the water and sewer department, water and gas department for the construction within Fox Hill Drive.
What's the timing of the water hookups?
We are probably looking, hopefully, to start early spring for construction, probably within a few months after that. So probably somewhere between May and July, they would be looking for the street openings to get the water to the site.
And how about the gas connection?
Gas company, we would be looking probably at the same time as that. They may lag another month or so. They will need to go through the same process that we have initiated here. But ultimately, we think around the July to August timeline for the gas service to be tied in would be the timeline that we would think that the street would be opened up. Then after that, we would do the uniform repair to repair all the trenches and the work that's there. We would want to coordinate with the gas company before the water line goes in, just to make sure we have a unified plan as to both water and gas, where they're actually going to go, so we can minimize that impact. And then once both utilities are in, we'll make that uniform repair to Fox Hill.
You all set, David? Any other comments or questions? Ian?
Thanks. So is it my understanding, Maggie, that the sticking point that we would have to grant the waiver is because of the paving, that it was recently paved, and as long as the end result would be that it would be repaired back to current standards, that there should not be an issue? Is that the purpose of the moratorium?
Yes, it is. I think the moratorium, I put in my letter, it expires the end of 2021. It was just paved in 2016. So yes, they're asking for this permit for the water work. The gas company would come in. We had hoped that they would be here, but they're still having issues elsewhere in the state. So hopefully they'll have to come in for another permit, which they'll do the water trenches and then the gas trench and then one overlay over the whole, so that we'll have, I don't want 3 separate patches at 3 different locations. They're gonna coordinate, as I said they would, at least in a more concentrated area, so we can do 1 patch.
Right, so the applicant would guarantee that it would be the same quality as
We would write
prior
their
to the...
permit such as that.
Thank you.
And for the people at home, that this is normal. Once we repave a road, we like not to cut it up again for 5 years if we can help it. We normally let everyone know ahead of time that we're about to do it and get anything in the ground. I understand this is new construction, and that's a good thing, and we like that you've got a nice plan going for Route 1, so I'm in favor of it, so
Just one question.
please.
Maggie, do you believe there's any other way to do it without cutting up the road to get service?
No, because they need water service. Their septic is on site, so they don't have to do that. And even if they could do something else for gas, they need water service. There's no other way to do it because it's in the road.
Thank you.
And I don't believe when we paved it 2 years ago, I'm not even sure these folks owned, or their clients owned the property.
Right.
Any other comments or questions?
Just out of curiosity, it looks like they have a picture there. Could you just hold that up so we can kind of see what that picture shows?
So this is a rendering, basically, standing at the intersection of Fox Hill and Route 1, looking towards the building. Basically, 3-story building, about 40,000 square foot in footprint, 120,000 square feet total gross floor area. Three-story appearance from the back and from the front, but as you approach the back of the property, it's 2 stories at the rear. So we're building it into the hillside. We're kind of utilizing the topography to our advantage.
Great, all right, thank you.
One other question, you're gonna be renting vehicles there as well, or just?
No.
I do have a comment.
Sure.
I feel uncomfortable about giving the permit for the gas at this point. I'd like to see the gas.
No,
even
I
for
don't
their
think
end-
we're gonna do
even-
the gas today.
even
Today, we're
for
just
their
doing
end
the
of
water.
gas.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
we're
just
aware
water
of
today.
that and understand.
Yep.
We had hopes to do that, but obviously we couldn't coordinate with the gas company in a timely manner.
Yep, good point.
But just to clarify, you are going to work to keep the 3 close together, right?
Yes, we are. We've revised our plan to actually consolidate it
Yeah.
nicely. But before we finalize and install the water as we go along, we want to make sure the gas company is okay with that location as well.
Right.
So if they have any comments or changes, we'll change both our, gas and sewer just to accommodate any concerns that they may have. Gas company usually does what they want, so.
We obviously want to minimize the road cut. so-
Exactly, and that's
yeah.
the whole goal.
Yeah.
So once we finalize that with the gas company, we'll minimize the impact, work with the water department and Maggie just to make sure everything is consolidated to a very narrow area of impact and repair.
Great, thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the street opening permit under moratorium for Fox Hill Drive at Route 1 for Highland Development Ventures LLC, contingent upon them meeting all the requirements set forth in the memo from Margaret Walker dated January 8th, 2019.
I'll second that. Any final comments or questions?
I'd just like to add, I think this is the first and only moratorium that I have actually endorsed.
I didn't want to jinx it.
I know, but you know what, I think the business is welcomed on Route 1, new business, new construction. I agree with the fact that, they didn't own the property before when the road was done. Also the fact that there aren't any residents that are driving up and down and have residential homes at the end, that makes a difference too. But, welcome to Walpole.
Great.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you and good luck.
Thank you. If I may, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to just do a shout out to Jim Johnson. When we started this project, I got on the phone with Jim. He got us a meeting with all the department heads within a week. We went in. The whole process, I've been doing this for 25 years, is, I think, working great. The people you appointed to the Zoning Board of Appeals, very good. They're protecting the town's interests. The planning board's great job. The secretaries, fire, police. I just want you, as the grand poobahs of the town, to know that your employees are really doing a great job. And Maggie, and thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Tom. Thanks for the kind words.
Nice to hear. I'll make a motion to approve the request for HESCO to hold the annual 5K road race on March 16th, 2019.
I'll second that. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve and sign the request for reimbursement for Chapter 90 funds in the amount of $730,650 $57.77.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to approve the request for the Recreation Department to hold Walpole Day, May 11th, 2019, and hold a parade starting at 10 a.m. at the high school parking lot and ending at Town Hall.
I'll second that. Any final discussion? I think it's a great event, so looking forward to it again this year. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. I'll make a motion to approve the request for Recreation Department to hold concert on the Common Series on the dates as provided in the letter.
I'll second that. I'll just make a comment. I think that's another great thing that Walpole does. The concerts on the Common is a lot of fun for a lot of people. Gives people a chance to meet people they probably haven't seen in a while, and definitely won't see in the wintertime. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. I'll make a motion to close the 2019 annual spring town meeting warrant.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And
With the time being just after 7:15, public hearing and vote for an all alcohol liquor license at 85 Providence Highway, and approve common victualer's license for Classic Modern LLC doing business as Beacons.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll second that. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Please come up.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good. Why don't you just give us a little flavor for what you have in mind? And
Okay. It is, we're going with the name Beacons, which some of you may remember
Yep.
as a restaurant in Walpole not too long ago. We're going to do a more modern version of what we once did in this town for 20 years. Obviously, we closed 14 years ago when the British Beer Company came in, so the concept isn't going to be exactly the same, but it's as close as it can be for modern times. If you aren't familiar with it, it was a casual, fine restaurant. We had two separate dining areas, one with white tablecloths, one without. A very approachable menu, and your classic independent casual steakhouse is the best way I can describe it. Closest concept that you might look up right now is there's a small regional chain called the 110 Grill. I think they only have 2 or 3 locations in Massachusetts. That's basically a more modern version of what we did. So that's as close as I can give you to something that you can look at that'll be similar to what we're planning to do.
great. I'll open up for comments or questions. Anybody have any? Ian?
Well, I, for one, loved the Beacon. When
Thank you.
it was Beacons, when it was around, it's a classic. And I think Walpole would benefit from another restaurant, because I think if you build it, people will come, and I wish you all the best, and I know you will have great success.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Make a motion? Or do you
I'll
have
make a
comments?
motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that. All in favor, please say aye.
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 I'll make a motion to approve the all-alcohol common victual license, liquor license at 85 Providence Highway, and to approve the manager of record as Jennifer Yarian for Classic Modern LLC doing business as Beacons. The license will not be issued until the issues from the Board of Health, Building Department, Fire Department, Finance Department have been resolved.
I'll second that. Any final discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you
Good
very
luck.
much.
Yep.
Good luck.
Look forward to seeing it open.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Yep.
Consent or open forum?
Let's do open forum.
Okay.
Anybody here for open forum? Nope, okay. Right on to consent agenda.
These items will be voted as one item, and it's motion to accept with much gratitude the following gifts. The Boston Bruins donation of street hockey equipment valued at $2,500 for street hockey youth programs. And the following donations to the Council on Aging. Helen Honahan, Constance and Leonard, Constance Leonard, Patricia and Michael Brunale, Nancy and Francis Wilhelm, E.H. Francis Christopher, Claire and Anthony Platicus, Wayne and Ellen Robbins, the Walpole Permanent Firefighters, Teresa Abate, Jean and Rob Adler, the Adam family, Nancy McCarthy, and Walpole Cooperative Bank in the amount of $2,500.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any final discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you, everybody who made a donation. Jim, Town Administrator's update?
Sure, just a couple of things here. West Street Bridge over near the train station. Today, tomorrow, and Thursday, there's going to be some ongoing work there. Traffic continues there. They had to do some work underneath the bridge itself. So they just are closing one lane during 8:30 to 4:30 during the day. There's 2 detail officers on there. We posted on social media and the town website just for the inconvenience. Route 1A Fields Facility, that's set to be considered by the Planning Board on February 7th. I've asked Weston and Sampson to plan on coming into a late February, early March meeting of the Board of Selectmen to provide you with an update on the project and where it stands throughout the permitting process. We're still on track to have bids in hand before town meeting, and the plan is to go to town meeting and lay out everything for the town meeting members to consider, same finance committee and your board, and they can vote at that time. Town offices, now that we have the COA relocated, Dawn, myself, Patrick, and some of the department heads are focusing on the old COA space. Dawn's asked to use the old COA space as a temporary office for about a month for the Board of Health, just to relocate them down there because they're going to bump over to where the Veterans and Animal Control Officer is. There's a doorway there, and he just wants to move around some of the desks and take out some of the glass, just have the people in the office kind of out of the way so building maintenance can do their job in-house. So we're going to do that juggling. We'll make sure notices are posted, and Rick's going to move some of DPW and admin around a bit. He wants to kind of be in the center of the action instead of off to the side, so he's going to be centrally located between engineering and water department, again, staying in the same area. And that's really about it. So just some changes. We'll make sure the public's posted and noticed in his postings around the building.
Great, thanks. Ian?
Thanks. Quick question, and we can talk about this later if you want, but is there any consideration being given to the Bill Willith request?
Yes, so that's the food pantry and
I couldn't hear.
I'm sorry.
the food pantry and what to do with them. They've requested some storage space down and to use some of the leftover refrigerators. I'm sorry, I didn't mention this. So Bill and the Walpole Food Pantry came before me and asked could they use that space. None of us really had a problem. I think the service they provide to our seniors and some people who may need it in town is excellent. So we're going to isolate some area and make sure it's locked and secured and let them use the leftover freezer space. We'll come up with some type of real basic MOA. I was just most concerned about whether or not if the refrigerators go off, that we're not responsible for replacing them. I don't see a problem in letting them have it now. So yes.
And I had, I'm sorry, I'm all scratchy. I had a couple of discussions with Bill about this to make sure really the parameters in the 4 corners of what they're looking for, and it's not for food pickup. The public won't be coming in for food pickup. It's merely for him when they collect perishable items that need to be refrigerated or frozen to be kept in the refrigerator freezers until he can re-deliver them back either to the food pantry or where to households. So it's a really minimal
Yeah, I think
request,
it's a good
and
solution,
it's a great
help them out.
solution.
Yeah, and it
And
meets
they'll
his
help out
needs, so. yeah.
Walpole residents, so that's great. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, no problem.
So for those at home, we're about to adjourn our meeting and move over to the South Street Center, where we're having a discussion with Mass DOT and the MBTA about the upcoming train to Foxborough. So I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:26. A second meeting is being held at the Murphy Room at the new Walpole Cooperative Bank South Street Center at 7:45 to meet with MassDOT regarding the Foxborough pilot program. Do we have a second? Motion and second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you.
Some signatures here.